it's me, Lena. So today we're going to be talking about finding motivation for the days to come. I know it's going to be really tough when we start back at school and we're not going to be used to the format, so it's going to be a little bit different. First things first is that everyone is going to struggle with motivation. Like, that has always happened before this time. And the way you respond to the lack of motivation is what matters. Be kind to yourself, experiment with different strategies that increase your motivation, ask for help if you need it. I'm going to provide some tips and tricks for you. However, some of them might not work, so feel free to kind of skip past them, and maybe one will take and you can use that throughout the year to come. I put this quote right here just because I like this quote a lot. Act as if what you do does make makes a difference, because it does. Everybody thinks that, they're like this little speck in the universe, but it's a domino effect. Even you as one singular person can make a really big difference. So you just doing your study work and being a student can make a really big difference. So consider the reasons you may not be motivated. Sometimes no motivation can be the problem. At other times, it's merely the symptom of a bigger problem. Your lack of motivation may cause you to procrastinate, and the more you procrastinate, the less motivated you'll feel. In this case, improving your motivation to get work done can help you feel better and perform better. For example, if you're a perfectionist, your lack of motivation may stem from fear that you won't complete a task flawlessly. Until you address this need to be perfect, your motivation isn't likely to increase. Here are some common reasons for lack of motivation. Avoidance of discomfort. Whether you don't want to feel bored when doing a mundane task, or you are trying to avoid feelings of frustration by dodging a tough challenge, sometimes the lack of motivation stems from desire to avoid uncomfortable feelings. Self-doubt. When you think you can't do something or are convinced you can't tolerate the distress associated with a certain task, you're likely to struggle to get started. Being overextended. When you have a lot of going on in your life, you'll likely feel overwhelmed, and this feeling can kind of kill your motivation. Mental health issues. A lack of motivation is a common symptom of depression. It can also be linked to other mental illnesses like anxiety, so it's important to consider your mental health may have affected your motivation level. And that's a very important thing right now, because cases show that there's like this increase in depression and anxiety due to the pandemic. So maybe look into that. Maybe that's why there's a lack of motivation there. Another one is a lack of commitment to a goal. Agreeing to a task simply because you feel obligated or declaring a resolution out of peer pressure may mean your heart really isn't in it, and you likely won't take action when you aren't committed to your goal. It has to come from you for you to feel attached to it and be motivated to do it. These are just common reasons why people may lack motivation. You might find that your lack of motivation stems from different things than listed, like the fear of what people think or a desire to please everyone. So carefully consider the underlying thoughts and feelings that are affecting your drive. Act as if you feel motivated. So you might be able to trick yourself, this doesn't work for everybody, into feeling motivated by changing your behavior. Act as if you feel motivated, and your actions may change your emotions. For example, rather than sit on the couch in your pajamas all day waiting for motivation to strike, get dressed and get moving. You might find that taking action will increase your motivation, which makes it easier to keep going. This is actually a really great example for when school starts. Start getting into that motion of doing that, because I'm sure if you're anything like me, you'll be like in Nike shorts and a t-shirt, but maybe dress up, get yourself, ready for like you would be going to class or something like that, and start getting in that routine. And you might actually be motivated to do schoolwork when time does come, and go to the meetings and do things like that. Also, ask yourself, what would I be doing now if I did feel motivated? So consider what you'd be wearing, how you'd be thinking, and what actions you'd be taking. So when you are on campus, odds are that you probably are more motivated than you are in self-quarantine. So think about what you would be doing on a regular day on campus. Even if you are a freshman, a transfer, have been there, just think about a day you would be doing if you had been on campus, and things about what you would be doing. Then do these things if you can and see if your motivation level increases. Argue the opposite. When you're struggling with motivation, you'll likely come up with a long list of reasons why you shouldn't take any action. You might think it'll be too hard, or I'll never get it done anyway. These types of thoughts will keep you stuck. Try arguing the opposite if you can. When you think you're going to fail, argue all the reasons why you might succeed. Or when you think you can't finish a job, list all the evidence that shows you'll be able to complete the task. Arguing the opposite can help you see both ends of the spectrum. It can also help remind you that an overly pessimistic outcome isn't completely accurate. Sometimes it can be an optimistic outcome, and probably a good outcome can come from it. There's a chance that things might work out better than you expect, and you might find that developing a more balanced outlook will help you feel more motivated to try. Sorry about that. Practice self-compassion. You might think being hard on yourself is the key to getting motivated, but harsh self-criticism doesn't work. Active Minds is actually going to kind of talk about this in our semester to come. We're going to tackle a lot about self, because you're going to be alone a lot of the time with yourself during this time. So it's very important to be kind to yourself and not go too hard on yourself. Research shows that self-compassion is actually much more motivating, especially when you are struggling with adversity. Like, I know in a lot of times places of work encourage bosses to actually use words of kindness to motivate their employees. So they'll say, like, good job, when they notice they're doing something well, instead of saying, you need to do this, or you're not doing this right. It kind of takes them aback and makes them not want to do better. Saying good job makes them repeat that behavior again. So rather than beat yourself up for mistakes or call yourself names, create a kinder inner dialogue. This doesn't mean you need to repeat positive affirmations and go all out like I'm the best person in the world. Instead, healthy self-compassion balances self-acceptance with self-improvement. And those are actually two things that we're going to go over in Active Minds. If you want to ever attend, I'll definitely link y'all to that. Acknowledge your flaws, mistakes, and failures with honesty, but don't indulge in a pity party. Speak to yourself like a trusted friend. Ask yourself, what would I say to a friend who had this problem? You'd likely be much kinder to someone else than you are toward yourself. So start treating yourself like a good friend. Additionally, coach yourself in a helpful manner. Practice using self-talk that encourages you and helps you recover from setbacks. And actually, a quick thing I just want to describe is a 2011 study conducted by researchers at the University of California found that self-compassion increases the motivation to recover from failure. After failing a test, students spend more time studying when they spoke to themselves kindly. Additionally, they reported greater motivation to change their weaknesses when they practiced self-acceptance, a key component of self-compassion. Self-compassion may also improve mental health, which can increase motivation. And a 2012 study published in Clinical Psychology Review discovered that self-compassion decreases psychological distress, reduces symptoms of anxiety and depression, and reduces the harmful effects of stress. So those are just some pretty cool things about self-compassion and the benefits that it can have. Use the 10-minute rule. So when you dread doing something like walking on the treadmill for 3 miles, you'll lack motivation to do it. You can reduce your feelings of dread, however, by proving to yourself that the task isn't as bad as you think, or that you have the strength to tolerate it better than you envision. The 10-minute rule can help you get started. Give yourself permission to quit a task after 10 minutes. When you reach the 10-minute mark, ask yourself, If you want to keep going or quit, you'll likely find that you have enough time, motivation to keep going. So whether you lack motivation to start working on a boring report or you can't seem to get yourself off the couch, to start a to-do list, use the 10-minute rule to motivate yourself to take action. Getting started on a task is usually the hardest part. So once you get going, however, it's much easier to keep going and keep that routine up. Go for a walk in nature, again, if you can, at your own risk. Make sure you're doing it safely. But fresh air, a change of scenery, and a little exercise can do wonders for motivation. Walking in nature as opposed to a busy urban street can be especially beneficial. A 2013 study published in British Journal of Sports Medicine found that walking half a mile through a park reduces brain fatigue. Being in nature offers a calming effect that rejuvenates the brain, which can help motivate you to tackle a tough task. So rather than walk down a crowded street, go to a park or a botanical garden instead. Being surrounded by nature can provide the mental escape you need to return to your project feeling more motivated than before. Pair a dreaded task with something you enjoy. So your emotions play a major role in your motivation level. If you're sad, bored, lonely, or anxious, your desire to tackle a tough challenge or complete a tedious task will suffer. Boost your mood by adding a little fun to something you're not motivated to do. You'll feel happier, and you might even look forward to doing a task when it's regularly paired with something fun. Here are some examples. Listen to music while you run. Or another one is listen to music while you study. I know a lot of students do that. Call a friend and talk while you're cleaning the house. Light a candle while you're working on your computer. Invite a friend to run errands with you. Turn on your favorite show while you're folding laundry. Just keep in mind it doesn't impair your performance, so you don't want, crazy sounds going on to where it would be too distracting. Manage a to-do list. So it's tough to feel motivated when your to-do list is overwhelming. If you feel like there's no hope in getting everything done, you might not try to do anything. Take a look at your to-do list and determine if it's too long. If so, get rid of tasks that aren't essential. See if other tasks can be moved into a different day. Prioritize the most important things on the list and move those to the top. You might find a slight change in your to-do list or the way you view your to-do list will help you to see your task as more manageable. As a result, you might feel more motivated to get to work. Keep in mind that most people underestimate how long something will take them, and when they don't get it done in time, they might view themselves as lazy or inefficient. I know I've done this very many times. This can backfire by causing them to lose motivation, which makes it even harder to get more things done. Practice self-care. You'll struggle with motivation as long as you aren't caring for yourself. Sleep deprivation, a poor diet, and the lack of leisure time are just few things that can make getting through the day more difficult than ever. Create a healthy self-care plan that allows you to take care of your mind and body. Here are just a few ones. Exercise regularly, get plenty of water, get plenty of sleep, have a healthy diet, make time for leisure and fun, use healthy coping skills to deal with stress, avoid unhealthy habits like binge eating and drinking too much alcohol. Again, maybe you can just check off one of these things as, your promise to yourself this year. Reward yourself for working. Create a small reward for yourself that you can earn for your hard work. You might find focusing on the reward helps you stay motivated to reach your goals. For example, if you have a long paper to write for a class, you might tackle it in a few different ways. Write 500 words and then take a 10-minute break. Eat one piece of chocolate after 30 minutes of work. Write 1 page a day and then remind yourself that when you're done, you'll have free time to do whatever you want. Work for 20 minutes and then spend 5 minutes checking social media. I do that fourth one all the time. When you complete the paper, allow yourself to Zoom call some friends. Give yourself a treat for doing the work that you did. If your motivation remains low for 2 or more weeks, seek professional help. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm the president of Active Minds. We emphasize this regularly, that it's actually a sign of strength to go out and ask for help. You may also want to seek help if you lack motivation and it's affecting your daily functioning. So, for example, if you aren't able to go to work, your performance at work is suffering, or if you can't get motivated to leave the house, this could be a sign of something more serious. And I know you can't really leave the house right now, but like going outside or something like that. Schedule an appointment with your physician. Your doctor may want to rule out physical health conditions that may be affecting your energy or mood. Your doctor may also refer you to a mental health professional to determine your lack of motivation might be related to mental illness like depression. If so, treatment may include therapy, medication, or a combination of both. Like I mentioned earlier, there is no shame to counseling. We actually have free counseling services, and they offer them online right now as well if you aren't on campus. So there are so many resources out there in case the motivation turns into something more. Here are just some other motivational ideas. So find out your why. To keep motivated during quarantine, you truly have to find out your why. Why am I doing this? Whatever your personal reason is, use it as motivation to keep moving forward. My personal reason as to why I do what I do is to help other people and find their voice. So that's why I keep going, and that's why I have the motivation to do the things that I do. Find yours. Contacting others. It can be motivational to hear what others are doing, how they're coping, and it can encourage you to begin your journey. Create a vision board. Looking toward the future, think about the things you want, what you need, your values, and how you want to feel when you achieve a life that incorporates all those things in it. All of these things together will create your intention in life, and your vision board will be a visual representation of that. This is a great way to kind of keep hope during these times, and I really love that idea, and I'm actually going to try it myself very soon. Other than that, thank you, and I hope that helped. For more information, you can email activemindctsa@gmail.com. I'm always checking it frequently. So if you just want any more tips and tricks, or you just want to share your personal story with this whole quarantine and motivation, or how you're doing, you can. Again, I'm the only one that reads it. It's totally confidential. Your story will not be out there, anything. It is just to have, you put it in your own words, whatever that may be. But it's not going to be exposed to anyone if you do want to email. And that, I hope the beginning days of school are going to be great for you.